more second here. Oh. Oh, still here. Oh, hey! Now that works. Okay, can we get the camera back? Oh, of course. So I was messing around earlier, and apparently I unplugged or something the microphone. Oh, dang it. Hold on. I've got to close this out. Close this out. I got to unplug that again. Let's see, was it this one? Yeah, this one. Need to put tape on these to know which is which. Alright, unplug it. Replug it. Open the software again. Watch it not work for me now. Oh, crap. Oh, I need to turn this on. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming here for that. Let me know. Okay, so it should come back in just a second. Yeah, I had all sorts of things went wrong today. All sorts of things went wrong today. This is just, but this one is a direct result of other stuff that went wrong because I had unplugged and replugged a bunch of USB hubs because I was trying to figure out why a drive wasn't working and blah 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 blah. It's just today has just been a huge mess. Hence, I am just getting started. But thanks, I really appreciate that. Okay, so let me give the recap again. Enums turn out to be a bad idea. I don't know. There might be a specific case where they're good, but what I was saying is that with the database, and Josh, they may actually make a good clip. So with the database, we have an issue where there's identifiers and there's values, and you can use the escaping functions, the query preparation functions in whatever library you have going for the values, but not for identifiers. And so if you want to meta the database, if you want to be able to create queries that query tables or queries that query enums, you have to write special code to do that. And because I'm using SQL C and I'm trying to take advantage of this code generation and kind of try that out and see how I like it, I ran into this situation where I need to actually be able to dynamically add new enums to the database. It's going to be rare, but occasionally it's going to happen. It's a bounded set, but it's not, the bounds of it aren't entirely known yet. And so I thought we'd just do a migration to the database, but to do that, we'd have to have something committed and go through a deploy process. So it's not something that could be done on the fly. And for this, we need to be able to meta the database a little bit. And so I got to get rid of the enums. And so that's what I was checking in here. I don't like this. This is Prince of Persia, the hourglass. The good one was the meadow. And Josh, that wasn't a good clip. It was probably too short. I said the longer version, but I didn't catch it because of problems with the sound setup and everything. But it's okay. The world's going to be better tomorrow. Today was a little bit of a wasted day, but I wasn't planning for to be wasted. Okay, next step. So I need to do a query on these, and this is another reason this is actually good, because we want to be able to query the types, and the way that I was doing it, we couldn't query them. So what did I decide though? On this, I think it was the ledger one here. I'm not quite sure what the right way to go about it is, because I don't remember it, because I haven't touched this code in a long time. But I think what we're going to need to do is somewhere early on in the code, possibly in routes, there needs to be some sort of init function, and we basically need to be able to query the database at this time and then build out this record type stuff. And that's going to stay essentially the same. In terms of the way it's built out. Where's our... Okay. Create party params. Let's see. API queries. So where do we have a setup function of some sort? Wait, where's main at? All right, we're reading stuff in here. Underground City, Super Mario World. OC Remix, by the way. Okay. So many things went wrong today. It's the stream with the HD video. That's right. You wanted to see the pores in my face, right? Let's see if we can get up there for you. Maybe get some nose pores. Maybe some eyelid pores. Some eyebrow pores. There you go. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that it is. It's good and bad. It is. Yeah, the if checks, they get a little cray cray. I'll give it to you. It's hard to deny that. All right, so new API and queries. Where did queries come from again? Okay. DB pool. Where did DB pool come from? A PGX pool. Okay. And so when I initialize the API, that's probably where I should do this. So I need to go find new API. And that's in routes. Oh, but I don't want API thing. Better name and comment. I called it API thing just so that I can attach all of the handlers to it. Okay, it's been a long time since I've been in this code, as I was saying. So Slippy Goat, how you been? I hope your day has been better than mine. It wouldn't be hard. It would not be hard. I did have a friend whose day was worse than mine. A lot worse than mine. But I actually had two friends whose days... So I have two friends who... Their kids have cancer. And they're going to die. And so at this point... For both of them, their kids got cancer at the same time. Both of them had a similar... It wasn't the same type of cancer, but it was a similar, chance of survival. Both of them... went through this long haul and were on the up and up. And then everything about them has been the same within a month of each other for over a year now. And, you know, so the same things are happening. They're the same stages. And then both of them, within a month of each other, just found out that their kids are going to die. They're not going to live. There is no alternative treatment. There is nothing left. It's the end of the line. They can go through chemo and continue to be sick, or they can not go through chemo and you die a little earlier. Or if it's not, there's a variety of treatments. I'm just kind of lumping them all together as chemo, but there's a few different treatment options, but they're going to lose their kid. It's just, that's what's going to happen. There could be a miracle of God, could be, but there is no medical science that's going to improve the situation any further. The medical science went to the cusp. It was successful. And then all of a sudden it wasn't successful anymore. So one of those friends just had, well, both of them today had the same day essentially, because we heard from both of them at different times, because my wife is friends with, and so we're both friends. And so, yeah, we found out from both friends, she did, because she was on the phone with them independently, that both of them started another round of life prolonging treatments, and with both of them, the kids just were not taking it well. It just, their bodies are too frail and not, it sounds like, everybody's got to figure it out for themselves and whatnot, but it sounds like one of those situations where it might be better to just take a shorter life that's a higher quality of life for that little bit of time that's left, because they're just, and I think that's might be what they come to, because it is really rough. No, I can still complain about a lot. I can definitely complain about a lot, because to everybody, their trials are their own, right? So everybody's struggles are their own struggles, and within the context of their own life, we all have something to complain about. So my day was better than that, but my day wasn't good. If I can find a way to be more grateful about the blessings that I have in my life and how wonderful my life is, that would be good for me. I would that would increase my quality of life. But one of my buddies, who, I said had the really, really bad day, he actually he's a higher quality of life type of person. He doesn't complain as much, and he has a happier life. Now, where do I init these things? I think that we're gonna have to have on here. Where did that record type go? We put that over here. Should that be over here? Ledger type, record type. I gotta figure out where this thing is and rip it out. Yeah, my kids are happy and healthy. Very, very happy about that. It's weird. It's weird when you get to the stage in life where all this stuff starts happening and people start dying and getting sick, and it just, it doesn't happen through your college years. Well, not for most people, and your first few years of marriage, it's not happening yet. But then, as life progresses, just more stuff happens. Okay, so this is record type. Why do I have this? I think I only have this because it's part of the types that were part of the database that were auto-generated. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason I have this. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. And instead, we're going to rename this from record type to ledger type, maybe? Or maybe we keep it record type, but it's going to have to get filled in here. So I need that map. Where did that map go? Let's see. Okay, it was right here. Record types. That's the map that I need. And I need to fill this out, but it's not going to get filled out in Ledger. It needs to get filled out in the API, I think. Let's look for record types and let's see where that gets used. Where does this need to live? Okay, so it's not... Yeah, it doesn't really belong there. I don't know why it was there, but it seems like it doesn't really belong there. Does it belong in that API place? You could get mugged and it would be okay. That's true. I could get mugged and it would be okay. No, in their eyes, it doesn't come off as offensive. That's the thing. So one of my major gripes with society as a whole is this fake empathy. People believe that because they have an emotional reaction to what they see, that their emotional reaction is the same emotional reaction that the other person is having. And this is just not true. Very, very, very few people are empaths. Very, very few. Very, very, very many people have vicarious experiences where they, what's the word? They project, is it projecting? Is that what it would be? But they see a situation and then they feel what they would feel in that situation and presume that it's what the other person would feel in that situation. So at one point, my wife and I were in marriage counseling, and I'd recommend that to anybody who, you know, we talk about it with other friends. It's a good thing to do. You know, do it, right? If you need it. Need is a strong word. If you feel like it'd benefit you. But anyway, there was a therapist that worked through. We actually did a couple of different styles of therapy to work on some individual personal issues and to work on some other issues, and it came to a point where we decided that we probably need to work on some of our own things individually and then come back to work on some stuff together, because the individual stuff was getting in the way of the, you know, and we just had to, and that happens. So but the therapist, she believed, one of them, she believed that she was an empath, and I told some story and she visibly got sad and everything, and she said, "Oh, that must have been so hard for you," and she said, "I can tell what you're feeling," but she obviously couldn't, because it wasn't the thing that I was describing at that time. I don't remember what it was, but it was not the thing that was hard for me. It wasn't the thing that was, you know, breaking me down or ruining my day, or the thing that she thought was a thing. But she and my wife actually had similar emotional wavelengths. So in terms of my wife feeling that she was seen and heard and felt, that was great, because they were on a similar wavelength. So it happened to be that what they believed about each other was often pretty close to the truth. But what that woman in particular believed in general wasn't true in general. It was just true with people that were similar to her. Let me see if I can get this. Record types. I just gotta kind of follow this thing around, because I don't remember all the places where it's actually supposed to go. And hey, tech support, what's up? Sorry, I didn't say hi earlier. You have a different experience to add to this. Yeah, go ahead, do it. I have not heard about the recent earthquake. I have not. No, I have been trying to stay out of the news lately because it got me a little bit too much in a negative psyche. So I have not heard much about things that are going on. But tell me about it. 40,000 people died. I believe it. I believe that the earthquake was devastating. I have no way to conceptualize that. I am not an empath, and when you tell me something like that, I understand the gravity of it, but I don't feel the gravity of it. Yeah, okay. You keep typing. I'm gonna look for this type here a little bit, and then I will continue reading that. Okay, so I need to make that query happen in, where was new query again? Or new API? That was in routes, right? Yeah, it's in routes. So that needs to happen here. Okay, so record types is, oh, right. Okay. I was getting confused because I've been doing JavaScript for the past several months, and now I'm getting back into Go, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, this is a type because it's camel case rather than, or title case rather than camel case. But no, that's how we do it in Go, duh. Okay, record types. So, record types, that is the thing that I need to fix. Wait, where did it go? It was just here. Oh, I need to move it from the other file. I'm going to remove it from the ledger. Okay. I don't have to feel it, nor do I. Good. It's just a number to sort of paint the picture of how serious an event it was. Yeah. Kebab case, I thought kebab case is when you have the kebab going through. Kebab case means as I type this. That's kebab case, because the kebab goes through. Alright, so we're going to take the assessment types. We're going to bring that out of this file. Or maybe we're not. Dang it! I don't know what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to leave it in there for now. It's fine. But I need some sort of a init. That's what I need to do. So we're going to take this new API thing. And I'm going to have an init function on here. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll sort it out later. If it needs to be something different, I can make it something different. But we're going to have an init function because I don't like having stuff that can fail inside of a thing called new. I don't like it. Okay, API thing, queries, and then this would be, I need to create a new query that will get record types is what that will need to be. And then it's going to be this is going to be an array of strings or slice of strings. And then it's going to return an error. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do for, I'm going to call it RT range record types. Then we're going to say record types RT. And this one may, I think we can denest it. I think we can get back just the strings. But I'm torn between using struct like this because it's well understood in the Go community and just using Boolean because it's easier to read in general. So now I have to go make the queries record types. And hold on. Oh wow. My Go tools are working the way they're supposed to. That's nice. Why can't I get this with the TypeScript checker right now? I don't get that. I'm glad my Go tools are working the way they're supposed to again. I recently reset my vim config. Alright, anyway, what was the point of this was to look at get ledger record. Yeah, let me go find this. Because I don't remember the file structure of this. SQL C is a new tool to me. Oh, I need to do it in queries. Right. SQL queries. That's the point of SQL C is I'm going to write the query. And then I am going to have the function. So I need a mini. Okay. And do I need that other bit? The description? No, that's just for the database. That's just really just a comment. Okay, get party records by identifier. I'm going to call this get record types QRS. I'm going to put it down below. And it probably should be record types get, but I'm just gonna go with it for right now. And I want to select code from, and we should just be able to do let's see, record types. That's it. Should be good enough. Okay. You love SQL C. You should also join the Discord and tell me more about how to use SQL C better. There, I'm popping up the little thing. This is probably going to pop up again in another 2 minutes. Okay, so let me go through this here. Close friends made it out safely, but friends' relatives were buried under the rubble. Yeah, those people made it out alive and escaped the disaster site. Were traumatized themselves. Yep. Yep. They survived an earthquake. Yep. Still an ongoing issue with their family now. Those couple of people who made it alive feel supported, but then again, they have relatives whose corpses haven't been dug out yet. Yeah, so I have had an experience that was earth-shattering for me personally. And I believe that I have a sense of, even though nobody died, I have a sense of what it's like to feel as though the way that I describe it is that gravity has stopped working. There are certain truths that you hold in your life. There are certain fixtures in life that you depend on, that you feel safe with, that you feel a sense of grounding and stability because of these truths that feel permanent in your life. And then when you come to a situation where one of those truths is violated in a dramatic or perhaps even a subtle way, but it's the understanding that the truth has been violated, that it is not a truth, that it is not a constant, that it is not dependable. If it's part of your core of being, it can make you feel extremely lost and confused and doubt a lot. And I would imagine that for some of those people that they are having that kind of experience because they've lost a fixture in their life that was a grounding anchor. So where you are is always relative to something else. There is no way to describe where you are other than in relation to the building or relation to the earth or relation to the sun. In the universe, where you are is completely relative. There is no way to define in any absolute terms where you are because it's kind of not real. There is no coordinate system that would pinpoint you because the earth is going around the sun and so on and so forth. But so that the metaphorical fixtures in your life that help ground you are points that, whether it's spiritually or mentally or emotionally or physically, you have reference points in your life that help you define where you are in relation to those points. And when those points drastically change, whether it's physically or mentally or spiritually or emotionally, it's a big deal. So I do say, not from an empathic perspective, but from just an experience that I've had. Not everybody's going to be having that experience, but I've had a traumatic experience, and trauma, whether it comes in that form or comes in a different form, I believe that the way that the brain interprets it, you know, the scale of it may be different, but I think that the experience is similar. I don't write Go anymore. What? I can't stand the jank type system. Get out! Get out! But I did have fun writing Go back in the day. Alright. What do you mean the jank type system? It's the best type system there is. It's all interfaces all the way down. Well, not the properties, but it's close enough. What do you mean by jank type system? I'm offended. I'm hurt. Also, why did I put quotes on one of these but not the other one? All right, so I think I'd just rerun SQL C. But I would love to know what your experience was with SQL C, because I'm feeling like it's a mixed bag right now. Now, is there a way? I think that there's a way for me to say, basically, return this as a list of strings rather than an object, but I don't remember what that way is. I don't know if I've used it anywhere else. Let me see how I'm using this one. Whoops. Because this seems like it would be the same thing. So this one, string, error. So it looks like this one works the way that I want it to work. Okay. So let me just try rerunning this again then. I hate the TypeScript system. I hate it so much. Rust, I think, is pretty good. I like some of the things that we get in Rust that we don't get in Go, particularly enums. I think enums are great. I did not understand what enums were until Rust, and then it clicked, and I really like it. OCaml, I don't know if that's a language I would want to use. OCaml, Haskell, other more statistically... Hold on, wait. Record types does not exist. Relation record types. Oh, whoops. So I need to do that from record type. That's what my problem was. Oh, record types. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay. OCaml, Haskell, more statically typed languages. Having used Go, I should return to better understand how the type system stands in comparison. My understanding of type systems now. Yeah, I love Go's type system. I just wish it had enums. If it had enums, that'd be the icing on the cake for me. And I do wish that they would implement the question mark for errors and have some sort of... Rust's way of handling errors is very confusing, but there is an elegance to a certain path of it. I don't think that they should have it be multi-directional, a to and a from and all that. I think it should just be you're handling it in one direction, not multi-directional. That's the thing that gets kind of confusing. Rust, I think Rust does too much. It's trying too hard to be C++. It's not focused on simplicity. It's too focused on expressiveness. And I don't like expressive languages. Okay, this looks like this is going to work great. Yes, an array of strings. Okay, good. This is exactly what I was expecting it to be. Hey, happy day. How often do you get that? Okay, and then, whoops. All right, get record types. Okay. Yeah. So we also need to do if strings dot ends with... Oh gosh, I've been doing so much bash recently, I almost put a colon then. Oh. Not bash, but POSIX shell, which, you know, close enough. Not close enough, but what people refer to it as. Oh, whoops. All right, in this case, that works. Ends with, and then we need to put in... All right, is it... How is it actually defined? Let me go check the migrations here. Okay, let me go check back. I'm pretty sure it's with underscores. Yeah, so it's been a year. Look at that. 2022-04. It's been a year. Well, 10 months. Okay. Yeah, everything is like this, so it's underscore assessment. Let's do it this way. Starts with, ends with, no, it has suffix. Dang it. Okay, and then, I mean, this is kind of a must in it, is what I'm going to call this, actually. Because if we can't do this, we just panic. I mean, there's nothing more to do there. Get record types. Wait, what am I supposed to do here? API.queries. Oh, context.background? Right, okay. I like that it goes explicit. I like that everything's there in the code. Alright. Must init will query and this actually should be broken down because we're going to want to basically... We want to expose this publicly, but there's going to be other times when we want to do this. And this should be... then I have to have a mutex around it. Do I want to do that? I'm going to hold off on this. There are going to be times that I need to mutex that. Maybe I should just use the mutex type instead. What is it called? Is it mutex.map or something? sync.map, golang sync map. Okay, let me go back here and see if I missed any comments before I go on, because sometimes people leave comments and then I read out some and then skip it. I used SQL C back when it was still a really new project some years ago and didn't have too many dynamic queries to deal with. Just hand wrote the driver code for the very dynamic queries. Okay. I'll be back after breakfast. Alright, look forward to seeing you again. Go with enums would be good enough middle ground for me. So you want a maybe? Yeah. Yep, I do. Could you not create a result in a maybe of your own? Let's see. No, well, because I want the question mark operator more than anything else, and then let's see, what's a good pattern? I've got a buddy who wrote an errors library. He's got a lot of good thoughts around error handling. I need to talk with him again and see what he's been doing, but I don't mind a little bit of copy and paste. I don't mind a little bit of typing. Why not try to install Arch? That's not going to solve my problem. That's not even related here. You want me to have a worse day? I installed Arch before, I think. I've installed Arch. I've done that. Back in the old days, I installed Gentoo from a stage 1 tarball. I don't know if they still use that term anymore. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 tarballs. Stage 1 tarball was the one where you end up spending about 48 hours to get your system up and running. Part of that is, an overnight just going to bed and waking up and then waiting until lunch the next day to continue while it compiles. Been seriously considering OCaml for long-term RPG game. Isn't too graphics heavy and the STL binding should be good enough for me. But it ticks off other things for me. I might still use Rust. Don't think I've ever used Gentoo. Arch is where I draw the line. Good man. Good man. Mostly because installing Arch is as easy as Ubuntu at this point. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go full Alpine. I just set up a Linux container, which is what Docker is made on, for Alpine, and I got it to be a productive development environment in about 30 minutes. There's one thing I still haven't figured out, and by 30 minutes, I mean it was about 5 minutes, but then I was taking pauses to go look at documentation and understand things, but it wasn't. I could do it again in about 5 minutes. It's just APK add. I didn't know what APK. I didn't know how to do APK at first. I'd never used Alpine before, other than in the Docker sense. But my full development environment, with everything that I want for JavaScript development, 200 megabytes. All the plugins, all the tools, everything, the whole shebang, about 200 megabytes. But there was some extra stuff. There might have been, I don't know quite how much it was, but in the realm of, I think, 10 to 20 megabytes for Cloud Init, because what I want to try to do is get it into an image that I can replicate and also that I could put up on DigitalOcean. And Cloud Init is basically this configuration package so that when you upload an image to a cloud service, they can get things like the IP address and whatnot. They open up the image, and then when the image starts, they run some commands that are guaranteed to be there with a config file that's in a guaranteed format, so they can say, here's the network information, here's the disk information, this is how you're going to mount this and that, and then it go. All right, so this is doing the right thing here now, and I need to go back to, what was it, route? Yeah, oh, no. Was it main then? Do I need to go to main? Okay, yeah. So API must init. That's fair enough. Recoverer. Did I call it that, or was I called that? That's naming things, man. It's so hard. No. I don't use a GUI for my development environment. Why would you want a GUI? You want to spend half your time clicking the mouse? I spend half my time talking to you. The time that we get to communicate is the time that I would have been spending clicking the mouse. Going through menus. Blah. Blah. I ain't got time for that. I got better things to do. No, it's a development environment. Not a web browsing environment. Not a social media environment. Come on. All right, that's good. So we got the must init there. And then, yeah, so I think that I accomplished the goal of getting rid of this, the enum thingy. Let's see, does it build now? Will it build? If it builds, then I did. If it doesn't build, then I didn't. Oh, yeah. I got to go retype these. I knew that. Oh, bother. No, that's okay. I may want to make this a type alias. Not sure. Okay, Okay, let me do ports B2. This is all the generated code, right? Yeah, that's the generated code. So we don't want to go into the generated code. Record types, record types. So this is what I'm going to do. Record types. I defined that in the ledger one. Record types. So we're just going to declare, I'm in Go. What's the syntax? We don't do type first, do we? I think we do. I think we do. Yeah, I don't. Sometimes. Well, we actually, you know what we could do though? And this would work. I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna try. Well, let me think this out in my head. I'm not gonna think it out in your head. I'm gonna think it out in my head. I know where I'm thinking. I've got that point of reference. I'm thinking in my own head, not borrowing anyone else's this time. Yeah, I don't think it's worth doing that. All right. I don't know, maybe this isn't necessary. Let's just not do it. I don't know what the value would be. I can't clearly communicate it to myself. I certainly can't clearly communicate it to others. Don't do it. Alright, so we're just going to do... This is sufficient. I'll check comments in just a second. Alright, so this has already been checked at this point. Okay, I'll get back to that. I have to reconsider that one. Why do I have that there? Alright, I'm going to get around to that ledger type one. This is just a string. Actually... Okay, that's where this makes sense. That's where I can justify this one instance. Type, record type, equals string. Record type. Maybe. Can I just get rid of the... Because sometimes it feels like it just doesn't need a description. Because it's nice. It's nice to convey that this is not just a string, that this is meant to be of a particular type. Wait, why did gofump not run? Please don't tell me that gofump has stopped working on me. Dang it. That should be running when I hit save. Why is that not running now? Like I said, I redid my vim config and now apparently there's a few things that are not working. There's a few things that are working that weren't working, and now there's a few things that weren't working that are working. But I did it from a clean slate, and then I'm pulling things over that I need. And by did it from a clean slate, I mean I took all of about 30 seconds to use webinstall.dev to get 90% there, 95% there, 98% there. All right, let me go back. Yeah, just Vim and NPM. My NeoVim keeps breaking me because I'm always messing around with it, so I just stick with VS Code for web dev work rip. Well, I don't mess with it a whole bunch. I got things figured out at a very basic level, and I just leave it alone, and then I can get any machine set up like that and get all the stuff that I want. Yes, that is the Vim Go that I'm using. If there's another one I should investigate, you can let me know about it. But I'm pretty happy with this. It's very minimal. And if I'm willing to wait long enough, things auto pop up, which is great. That is actually useful from time to time. Okay, now why is it griping at me? Whoops, no, don't do that. Chill beats to race to by DDR Kirby. Diddy Kong Racing, is that what this is? That was actually an alright game. I borrowed that from someone and it quit working. It just stopped working. I was in the middle of playing it. And then the screen just went blank and it turned off. And then it didn't work again. Echo can't sleep. Hey, what's up, Cocoa Bite? Hey, alright, this is working again now. Great. Well, if it works, you know what that's a good time for. It's a good time for a commit. When it works, we commit. Alright, so we got rid of all that jank. I'm going to get rid of all that jank the rest of the way here. You know what I would like, though? Nah, because it'll get out of date. I don't know. Anything that's going to be mutable in the database, just kind of let be. Oh, wait, no, we're not done. We're not done because... Okay, so we got record types. What all do we have to worry about here? Party roll. Wait, what was that party roll thing? Hold on. What, did I forget something? Party roll. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that one we're not ready to get rid of. I spoke too soon. That one, well, I want to go ahead and commit, if nothing else, just a whip. We need to get rid of the rest of the enums, which that's going to be basically a copy-paste migration from what we already have. And why is... Okay, let me go look at my old Vim config that I had from a few days ago. I don't think there's anything in here around the Go stuff. That's going to be different. I might have put it in a different order. Maybe that's one thing I get a little confused about. Does Ale need to run sooner? There's a question. I don't know to what, but no, that's not even running Ale. That's just setting some variables. I get a little confused about the dependency chain because all of this stuff that I'm sourcing, that's just setting variables. Would it work better if I set this sooner? Oh wait, I don't have Vim Go installed. That's why it's not working. Wait, then how am I getting... Oh, because I still have some of the Go tooling installed, even though I don't have Vim Go installed. All right. Cool. And everything's already built. All right, so let's go back into that file then. And now we should see... Okay, good. Whew. When I reset my config... So Vim Go is not part of Vim Essentials because not everybody who's doing web dev with Vim is doing Go. And so I just hadn't yet installed Vim Go. Because Vim Essentials, it does include Node and Prettier, but that's because if you're doing web dev, even if you're not doing JavaScript, you're still going to be working with HTML and Markdown, and even any type of development you're doing, you're going to be working with Markdown. Unless you're really, really cool. And you've written books before. And then you use ASCII doc or whatever. Which I would love to learn. If somebody's got a good resource for learning ASCII doc, I would love to try writing a book in that. All right, so that one's down. Go fumped. Okay, now let's look through and see what we got. So we got rid of those. We bumped some versions. We added some queries. I wonder where this is from. Null identifier type. Oh, okay, so they just updated some of the code gen. I got rid of some of this stuff. Okay, here... Yeah, I like that not being just string. I liked that being type record type, but... Okay. So I feel good about that. First, I like to first commit the code and then commit the build of the code. What was different about embed? Interesting. Okay, so they just changed the syntax around that. Fine by me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to git stash all these things. And I'm going to go run go fumped. And I don't even think that's something I'm using, right? Yeah, okay, so. Sure, go fumped. Oh, whoops. What? Didn't I do a git stash? Yeah, I did a git stash. Now I just did a git stash pop. Oh, okay. So let's update routes. Update. Well, I guess maybe we should do this. SQL. And then migrations. Oh, we already updated the migration. So this would be update model to reflect enum free migration, and then this is the stuff that we actually changed. It's important. Use record, convert record types to map string. Cool. Okay, cool. Now let's go back and let's finish up with that one. Where was it? I'm a little rusty. Let's see. Feel like it works pretty well for Go. Haven't compared NeoVim LSP with it, but I have friends that write Go daily that still use it to this day. I really don't. So I tried installing NeoVim the other day, and basically I don't want to reinvest all the time. That's the thing. I just don't want to reinvest all the time. I've got plugins, they work, and most importantly, I don't use any tools that I can't easily teach someone else how to use. This is, in some ways, it has been a barrier to my productivity, but in other ways, if I need to improve my productivity, I need to improve my productivity in a way that I can share it with other people pretty much instantly, right? So that's the burden that I place upon myself, and that's the burden I prefer to have, because I don't want to be in a position where teaching someone how to do what I do takes a long time or is a huge mental burden. I would like to be in a place where imparting my wisdom is a matter of running Webby X. Web install is my attempt to capture what I know. Webby here. This is my attempt to capture what I know, and the configs that I know work well. This is Killer Instinct. Combo Breaker. The question was, is it the Skyrim thing? So that I don't think there was a question asked in the little bit that I was just sharing. I think that was just me sharing. Well, about why I haven't joined the NeoVim, the cult of NeoVim. I get that it's pretty, but do you want what's pretty or what works well? And it sounds like it works well too, but I don't see a particular advantage other than that it looks cool. And it's neat to have the glowing fonts, because I used lazy NeoVim. The problem was that lazy NeoVim doesn't have the tools that I need. I want something that's quick and easy for me to get set up and start developing in. And lazy Vim didn't do that. I just opened up, and I was opening up JavaScript files, right? So if there's anything that you expect to work, it's web dev, because that's what everybody's doing. And I just opened up JavaScript files, and so I tried a few different ways. I tried NeoVim with my config, totally didn't work at all. Everything broke. I tried NeoVim with lazy NeoVim, and then I think I tried it with something else as well that's a little more minimal. But I spent a couple hours on it, and it didn't work out of the box for me in a useful way. I want formatting, I want linting. That's what I care about. I don't care that, yeah, it's cute that it's got GPU rendering, little bars going up and down, and it's got graphical windows inside. There's a lot of stuff I'd never seen before in a terminal. And so it was entertaining, but all the focus was on the bits that were entertaining, not on the bits that helped me get my work done. So that's where I just... if somebody can show me something like Vim Essentials, which So let me just bring that back up real quick. If somebody can show me this for NeoVim, I want to try it out. I do. I really do. All right, there's Vim Essentials for you. That's this page. So take a look. But it's extremely lightweight, and it's high on productivity. It's not airline, and a lot of things that people get excited about Vim, I don't care about. I don't care about airline. I don't care about all these little widgets and gizmos. I find the nerd font stuff to be useful because it helps me to identify a file quickly by having a glyph for it. But man, I wish I could remember what all I was doing in this thing. I remember what I was looking for. No, what I was looking for was in the ledger file. I'd forgotten why I had certain... whoops. Not anymore. Actually, get log. But I'm not interested in things that are purely cool, because a lot of those are distracting. They're neat to show to other people, wow, it's a little bit of an ego boost, but it needs to be useful. And so I'm very selective in that way. Form ever follows function. Sullivan got it right. Okay, so I need to go change party role. All right, we're gonna go do that. So we're gonna do the same thing here. Actually, I think I'm going to make it a separate migration. Also, I like my setup to be very portable. So, because of Webby, I can spin up a new VPM and VM or VPS and be productive within about 60 seconds. Except on Alpine. It'd take me a little bit longer, but I'm going to fix that. I'm going to create a pack for Alpine that is, and I may update the Beyond shell pack on Webby so that they work on Alpine. I want to play around with it a little bit and see how I like it, but I do like the idea of a nice thin system like that. And having a full development environment and my stuff in 200 megs. That's amazing. And it would be less, if I don't include the development environment, then it's... But at that point, the question that I'd like to get to is, can we just run bare metal? Can we... And I want to learn how to do that with LXC, because I think there's probably a way to do it. I haven't done a search for it yet. Okay, so record type to table, and this is going to be party type to table. All right, and then everywhere that we have record type, we're going to go to party type. Let me see where party type is used presently. that may actually, that might be okay to keep as an enum. Party role. Okay. Yeah, we'll take. I'll get them all out of enums just to be consistent. This looks like this is appropriately an enum. Well, with space savings. Identifier type. Okay, maybe I'll leave party type and identifier type as enums because, yeah. Okay, well, but we'll get the party role. Okay, so. Yeah, this is the one we need to do. Because we may add new party roles, and we'll need to add them on the fly. And then what were these related to? Party role is related to what? Where is it actually used again? Okay, how many places are there that use party role? Hopefully not many. Okay, it looks like we're not actually using it anywhere. Is that true? Okay, ledger party uses party role. Where are we using ledger party? Might not have implemented that yet. No, it's there. Or maybe it isn't. Okay, well maybe this one doesn't matter that much. But we'll go ahead and move it over anyway. So if nothing has a column type party role, I just make sure that's the case. Nothing has a column type of party role. Let's just look at migrations first. Migrations up, create type, alter type, unique. Okay, the relationship is of with the ledger. Okay, and then in my base code, whoops, too much information. Oh, party role. Here we go. There's a query here for it. Let's check that. All right, create ledger relationship. Ah, this is important. So it would be of that type. That's what I need to go find. All right, so it's in routes. I'll check the comments here in just a second. All right, same thing here. Do check to make sure it's okay. Now that role that came from roles, that came from parties, did that come from the database? I think that came from the database. Append parties, get a create party. Yeah, okay. That's where that came from. That's why that's working that way. Got it. Again, go here in ledger, and then this needs to be string. And then we're going to update queries again. And then we're going to do something similar here with get party role. LMNOP should go above. All right, good to be back in this. All right, let me check comments real quick. I like interactive development, and NVim has conjure. I don't know what that means, whereas what I use has nothing resembling it. I don't know what those I don't know what those words mean, Slippery Goat. I usually have much more minimal config than LazyVim as far as appearance goes. I just end up needing to have a bunch of random custom functionality. I just keep adding to my config over time, and NeoVim has generally been nicer for that. I'm just as happy, productive in VS Code, to be honest. But you can't easily replicate your config in VS Code from one computer to the next. And you can't run VS Code on a server. Both of those things are false if you do it right. But with Vim, you're just copying a couple of text files and doing a git clone of a couple repos. And you can work remote natively. But that's the thing, is I actually stray away from having a lot of customization. I want the minimal customization to be productive. I find, because this is the thing, any type of customization ties you to your specific machine. And then when you want to go work elsewhere, when you want to do a pairing session, when you want to go work on the server, when you want to teach someone else how to do what you're doing, then it breaks down very quickly. And so I think that having tools that are better at auto-completing is a better solution than having lots of custom tools. So Fish, for example, I've started to use aliases. I'm going a little bit overboard to begin with. But the problem I have is I'm switching between computers and then my aliases aren't on that computer. I'm switching between servers and my aliases aren't on that server. Whereas with Fish, as I run commands, they essentially become aliases because Fish has great history tools. You just type a word and you hit up, and then boom, there it is. The last thing that you did with that is there. So, and you can type just 2 letters and hit up, right? And so Fish is a good generic solution. It just keeps a history of what you've done and then makes it autocomplete really nicely and makes search automatic. You don't have to learn how to search in Fish. You just type some letters and you hit up. You're going to do it by mistake, you know? So that I really like about Fish. And yeah, I don't have something equivalent. I've had problems with the Vim plugins because they're so slow. I mean, just plugins in general. In VS Code, they're slow. And I don't like things popping up in front of my face and covering up the context of what I'm trying to read. So that's, I can't do VS Code. It's just too noisy. There's too much going on all the time, all at once. Let's see. What is Cocoon? Modal editor, so it's like Vim. Oh, that's nice. I would like a plugin that does that. If I could get something where I just highlight it and hit, I don't know, GI and have it indent properly, because I use Prettier. But then again, yeah, so this is the thing. Actually, no, I wouldn't use this, because this is the job of a code formatter. It's not the job of the editor. So linting tools and formatting tools provide the generic solution. I would like a formatter that does this. And I think the Go formatter does. But I don't want my editor to do this. This is not the job of the editor. The editor should run the formatter. So I look at it and I say, oh yeah, I want that. But actually I don't want that. I want a formatter that does that, and I want my editor to hook into my formatter. I want the editor to hook into the language tools. Let's see. Oh, okay. Having plugins for stuff that could be relegated to the shell. That's kind of what I'm talking about, I think. Interesting. Does it have Vim-like key bindings for insert and stuff like that? On Alpine, it's as high as 64 seconds for what? Closure is... No, I haven't heard about Slime. But I do like the idea of having a code editor that is... Well, I think Vim and VS Code kind of get this right. In that make the code editor much simpler and focus more on tools that deliver, you know, the LSP is the right approach. Make the tools better for the language, regardless of the editor, and let the editor have a protocol to receive the text and give the hints and stuff like that. Yeah, well, this is my question to you. Why is so much of your time spent not using your system, or so much of your time, yeah, why is so much of your time spent using your system? Why aren't you on other systems? Because I think that there's been this trend towards developing on localhost, which is net negative, because people don't know how anything works and they don't know how to deploy stuff that will work somewhere else. So I think that trend is net negative, and I think part of the reason for that trend is because it's difficult to figure out how to get things set up, and it's difficult to have a documented approach and a teachable approach. And so that's another one of my isms, is to me that if it's portable for me, it's also teachable. Well, try out Vim Essentials. In all seriousness, give it a shot. Try out Vim Essentials, because it's 30 seconds and you've got a full IDE. And it's very, very minimal. It's not intrusive. It doesn't add a bunch of key bindings. The only key binding that it adds is the key binding that everybody who uses it does anyway, which is the leader key. It maps the leader key to the spacebar, which is the common convention that everybody does, because the leader key originally was for a particular type of keyboard that had the keys in a different place. It wasn't a standard QWERTY keyboard, and that's why it was a terminal system. Anyway, if you're going to pair programs, so they come to me. Yep. It's like Vim, but permanently in visual mode? Permanently in visual mode. Do you mean permanently in edit mode? What? I'm just confused. How could it be permanently in visual mode? Visual mode is where you select, right? That's when you hit V and you select. That's visual mode. Okay. Supposed to be more efficient. Oh, yeah. Well, I will be able to replicate my setup on Alpine soon. It's just that I don't know if I really should. I want to for my own benefit. I don't know if it's something that I would be sharing with other people or not. We'll see. I have some ideas in my head that might not turn out to be great. Attempting to make a joke. Alpine, it must be 64 seconds. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. But it'll be the same amount of time on Alpine. I just have to put a couple of different checks in place, and I have to have a function for using apk add rather than apt-get install y. Well, Docker, my problem with Docker is that Docker is a replacement for documentation, and it's not a good one, because people don't. What happens in practice? I like the concept of Docker. I think the concept of Docker is really good. I think the problem that it was targeting to solve, which is to make it so that people can run Python without having their system screwed up, it was a good problem to solve, but it wasn't really the right way. PyEnv is the right solution to that problem, not Docker. But I've seen people get their stuff screwed up because the documentation is bad. Docker is a documentation solution, or a continuance of a documentation problem. It's not a technical solution. Or it is a technical solution, but the way that it is used is most often not to accomplish a technical challenge. It's to accomplish a lack of documentation. So people take it works on my machine, and it translates to, well, it works in my Docker image. They do not know how to communicate, how to replicate what they've done. And there's a Docker file, and if you dig in it and some of the scripts in the repo, then maybe you can figure it out. But it's the same, it's a better way to encounter the problem, because at least you know an environment in which the thing runs that you can inspect, because we can't ship your machine to the client, but we can ship your Docker image to the client. So the client still doesn't know how it works, you still don't know how it works, but you are able to replicate the thing even though no one on the team actually understands how it works. And I imagine that you've been in this situation many, many times. You go into a team and they have no idea how their Docker image works, and they want to make a change to a thing, but everybody's afraid to make that change because it breaks the Docker image. And so that's why I say it is an evolution, because we are going from, we can't ship your machine to the customer, it works on my machine, but we can't ship your machine to the customer, to, well, it works in my Docker image, and we can ship your Docker image to the customer. But the fundamental knowledge of what was done, the business process, has been lost. And that's my problem. My brain's too used to having over 100 very custom bindings, especially on VS Code. I get it. You select and select and select and select. Interesting. Hey, Sharper Guy, welcome. Oh, you had popped in just then. That was your comment. I was going to. And by the way, Josh, that would make a good clip. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. I need to message real quick. Just a second. Okay, let me go back here. So where were we at? Party roles. I got that. Oh, no, I need to go into here. Oh, dang it. I keep on forgetting. All right, there's the ledger one, party role. So ledger party. So create ledger relationship. So it is ledger party role. Okay, that's what we need to worry about here. Let me go back to the migration because this is where I need to finish things up. So here, nope, not this one. No, it is that. Wait, it is that one. Dang it. But I was mistaken about this. We do still need this. Except this is ledger party. And then same thing, we need to swap out these two party role. Whoops. Okay, whatever. We got the party role. We're good. And then, yeah, I'm going to keep that description in there. That's fine. Party role map. Type equals party role, alter type party role enum, party role, and then this is going to be ledger party, all party role varchar, ledger party route type. Okay, yeah, so this one's pretty much exactly the same. And then we're going to copy the down here as well. So I think I just need to do two changes here. So one is that all instances of record type become party role, and then all instances of ledger become ledger party. And then I need to go back and then fill these with the appropriate values that are in the one. Oh, why have I? I'm talking about all this autocomplete stuff and how Fish is so great, and then I've been doing this stupid match on the numerical here instead of just typing out what I wanted and then selecting it from the list. Doi. All right. So now I think we can try these. Well, let me go ahead and let me get this to build. And I think it should fail. Or maybe I got everything right. Oh, whoops. I need to not call it code, but I need to call it roll. And then I think there's one other thing that needs to go bye-bye. Wait, what did I do here? Oh, whoops. I changed the wrong file. That makes a lot more sense now why I was getting that error. Nope, not down. Go up. Okay. And the next problem that we're going to run into is going to be that I didn't actually run the select in the must init. Okay. So that's the select is in the route. That's in the must init. And this is going to be record types is going to become party roles. One of the things that I liked about the AI assistant is that for stuff like this, it's very easy to have it match on the correct casing and then just get a bunch done at the same time. Ah. Okay. I don't think we actually need this one. So party roles is fine. And then I need to go back to that ledge to the query. And get. And when I say I see the comments, I see them out of the corner of my eye over here. So, well, it's actually it's hard to describe in this type of spatialness where things are. But from my perspective, it's over here, which looks like it's over there, but that screen, the screen right here, is actually right there, closer to the camera. Anyway, I forget what I was saying. Get party roles. All right, there's that. And then in routes, is it in here or is it in here? Then there's party roles. That one's already been updated. All right, let's see if the build works. All right, and I will now check some comments. How much longer am I going to stream? I don't know. I want to get to a good unit of work done. I'd like to make a little bit of progress on the REST API, but it is 3 a.m. so, and I've got a phone call. Let me actually see if that phone call materialized. I don't know if I need to take that phone call at 11 or not. But I needed to get something done today. I've had a terribly unproductive day, and I needed to get something. Okay, where am I looking for that meeting? Oh, it was in a group chat. Okay, I'm going to say I'm no longer available tomorrow at, oh, I said, darn, at 11 a.m. because it's 3 a.m. now and I don't see a message confirming, so I'll be sleeping instead. I mean, it's still possible, but I'm not planning on it. Okay. All right, that's out of the way. How do we manage not to be distracted by the incoming text messages? Because it's not that distracting. I have my screen sectioned off in such a way where I have things where I want them and where they work for me. It's taken a good year to kind of slowly figure out where things need to be positioned. I dare say I've mostly figured it out. So, you know, for example, right here, terminal goes here. Web browser goes here. Chat window is here, but it goes over here. And so it's just in my peripheral because most of my vision is in this space, and that's over in this space right next to the camera. And so it's not actually that distracting. Interesting. Yeah, I actually hear you on the digital clock and the digits changing. That would be particularly distracting for me because I have started to develop an astigmatism. And so things that have extremely high light and dark contrast bug me a little bit more. I noticed earlier this year that some of the signs as I was coming home, I noticed in the evening some of the signs were kind of bothering me, and I went and I got my eyes checked again. I do a yearly exam. I just had it a little bit earlier. I had it about a month earlier because I was noticing that, and I thought that maybe the film on my lenses or something had gotten messed up. But apparently my astigmatism, and it changes. My eyesight gets better and worse every year. It's a little bit better or it's a little bit worse. Over the past few years, it's been a little bit better almost every time, but the astigmatism this time, last year or 2 years ago, the little computer machine that checks your eyes, it picked up that I had an astigmatism, and it recommended glasses with astigmatism correction. And the woman who was trying to sell me on the glasses, I said I didn't want the astigmatism correction, and she looked at me like I was an alien. I mean, it kind of felt a little bit weird. But now I understand what she was talking about, because she believed that I had all these problems that people with astigmatism have. The computer picked up the astigmatism, but I didn't perceive it. My brain and my eyes worked in such a way that I didn't experience those problems. Now that it's become slightly stronger, I do experience some of those problems. It's not a big deal for me at all. But for some people with astigmatism, it's really bad. But with my glasses on, I can't read the microwave timer from across the room. And it's because things that are high contrast like that just, bother me. All right. Yeah, go ahead. You'll have to tell me about fourth sometime. Thanks for joining in, and consider a like, sub, follow if you want to, and there's the Discord link if you want to join in. We have a little introductions thing. It's starting to get to a point where it's not so quiet. For the first year, maybe year and some change, the Discord was very quiet, but it's starting to get to the point where there's a little bit more interaction. There's enough people that, pop in here and there that it's starting to get a vibe and a culture. I don't know what that vibe and culture is yet, but it's starting to form. Okay, so it built, therefore I shall commit, but first I want to do the migrate up one. See this actually, and then migrate up one again. All right, so this did not work. Where was code referenced? Ah. Okay. So let's try migrate up one again. Okay. So can I run the migrate up one? Excellent. So glad I made these tools for myself a year ago. Much easier to do this now. Invalid input value for enum record type. Notice of grant option. Okay, I must have missed something. Notice of option. Create type. Party. Wait, this is wrong. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? I don't know how it caught that. I must have put this in the wrong file. I must have fixed it in the wrong place. Check good status here. Yeah, I accidentally pasted into this one. Okay. See if it'll go back up. And up again. And then there should be no more to go up. That's great. And then down again. Okay, and it breaks again. Okay. Drop the constraint does not exist. So we have a drop constraint, but we never had the add constraint. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add this constraint so that we can drop it. I'm just going to do that manually. I'm going to go connect to the database. Okay. Alter table drop constraint. There we go. Go, and then down one, and then down one again. And I want to watch it go all the way up and all the way down without an error. So up again, down again, down again. Okay, now I believe that it's likely correct. So let's see what we did here. Looks about right. And now, I think we can commit this. And what did I call it last time? No. I thought I had another ref there. Convert. Record types. No, that's not the one I want to do. What did I call it? Oh, okay. party role enum. And then ledger, and then routes. And this is where this is actually closer. Okay, and I want to do a get rebase dash I of head, probably about 5 commits. That's, yeah, there we go. And I actually want to change the name of this one. I think I want to change the name of one before too. Update model. So this was record type. Party role. Party role, okay. And I'm actually going to go back 10 because this one, I actually want to be more clear about what this is because it's not enums. We are migrating specifically something. It was record type. Okay, cool. Let me think. This should be ready to deploy. I think I'm going to test this one out. Actually, I think I'm not. I think I'm going to continue to work on it. Well, I've been going for 2 hours. It's almost 3:30. I'm just going to peek at it, and then I'll decide whether I want to go until 5 in the morning or if I want to stop. But I think I want to stop. I think it'd be better if I get a little bit of a sleep. My schedule's been really bad this week too, among just random stuff that happened today that I would have gone to bed at a better time today, but I need to have that feeling of completion that, okay, this day wasn't wasted. I did something that worked. Because for those of you that weren't here earlier, I was talking about just a whole slew of things went wrong in different aspects of life today. All minor things from my perspective, my own personal experience. Just a lot. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. I had a RAID drive fail. I put in the spare, and then it didn't recover. It actually failed yesterday, and then I put in the spare, and it didn't actually recover. So it's running in degraded mode. So the streams are they're being recorded. They're not being synced over to Josh. So I've lied to Josh to a small degree. Well, not entirely. We do have recordings, the most recent recordings from the past couple weeks we still have, but there's about a month of recordings that we no longer have access to. And then let's see what happened after that. Then I was setting up the server for the home lab that is going to take over the job of what the cheapo raid was doing, and then had some problems setting that up because I've never done it before and I don't understand it. A friend of mine, the whole idea was he's versed in this stuff and he was going to bring me into the fold. But we hit a couple of snags, and one of them was really stupid. I just had the drive in the wrong position in the slot because I put it in the position I'm used to, which is normally all the way back for a large drive. But I guess SATA U is the drives hold SAS drives and SATA U drives, and I thought it was a SATA drive, and I didn't know it was the SATA U, and I just thought that it would go back because that's normally how it goes. Anyway, and then so I had to move it forward, and then it ended up working, so that was good. And then there's just a bunch of other stuff. The mic wasn't working because when I'd been trying to figure out the thing with the drives, I'd moved over here, plug them into a different USB port, and yada yada yada. and then there was some stuff with some friends, and they were having real problems, not paper cut problems, but some real problems. And then, yeah, it was just not a productive day for me. Anyway, so what I'm looking at then is with the routes, this is something where we could just have some pretty cookie cutter stuff. Let me think about it. Because I have these protections in place that we actually want to remove because we don't actually know what this thing needs to be. And so my job with it is just to convert it over into a more less authenticated, more cruddy. Or not less authenticated, it still needs to be authenticated, but less restricted. So it's supposed to be very controlled. You can put this in like this. Well, mostly you can get things out, but you don't put them in. But we are going to make it so that it's a lot more fluid in terms of what you can put in, so that it's easier to prototype. Let's see, and this is the routes file, right? Yeah, so where did I'm setting up the routes in main, aren't I? Okay, so we need to have, there it is. There's our get, and that's setting up the API. Wait, what was this one for? Can't remember what that. Oh, cool. Yeah. So this is just showing a list of API endpoints, exactly what it says it's doing. All right, that makes sense. And so we need to be able to edit as well. So upcoming to-dos for tomorrow. Let me just get the to-dos for tomorrow out of the way. Starting to use the more English way of doing to-do. No, I don't want to do that. I want it to show up in the highlighting. Oh, excuse me, in the highlighting. So do we have and I probably want a way to just get, we need to get ledger items by other values. We need to be able to get by related email. That's one of the things I actually have a task up for. Okay, so yeah, we need to be able to just say, you can do whatever you want. It's not going to be a post, it's going to be a patch. We're going to leave it. Update. So he's going to get full control. So we want to make it so that if you submit some data, it's an append-only record. You can add another record with the same ID for the data itself, the ID of the data, not necessarily the ID of the row, but and you can retrieve the most recent version, but for auditing purposes, any version that has gotten to this service, because this is the service, basically once something has been signed, a document's been signed, it's going to go into this service, and this service is just presenting a simpler format for the storage. It's not as easy, perhaps, to, well, in some ways it's easier to query, in some ways it's not as easy to query. It's not as easy to query atomically, but it's easier to query and have the document of the data rather than having to piece together the document from the individual pieces. This is the snapshot of the document at the time that it was signed in the data that's associated with it and the people. There's a problem where, because of the legacy of how the application started and what it grew into, there's some cases where a person might do something like change their email address, or they might even change their name. Maybe they have, they go from Sam to Samuel, or they go from Chris to Christopher, or from Christopher to Chris, or whatever. They changed their name in a way that's probably not super meaningful, but does change the searchability of the name in the database. And so we want to provide some abstraction so that as a person is doing interactions that might change their account, that it doesn't complicate the way that we search for those tags in a document. And so in the current way that it's there, we do have the historical preservation of what things were at a given time, but the way that the documents are queried in the current database, when those changes happen, we don't currently have a way implemented to be able to get the correct data back after a change, which is normally fine. Well, we do because there is a snapshot, but the snapshot isn't searchable. We do have a snapshot in place, but we don't have a good way to query those. Anyway, so this is basically a better snapshot system, and the idea is that once it's gotten to this point in the process, whatever values were templated into the document and whoever signed the document, that's legally binding. So it's important that that's the cutoff. But there are also clerical errors that are not necessarily legally important, or that I can't think of an example off the top of my head. But basically there are clerical errors where the document may not need to be re-signed, but some specific data about the document may need to be updated, or some sort of reference may be needed to be added to the document. And we need to know that who it was added by and when it was added. So anyway, that's kind of the purpose of changing this. And we need to have the relationships are currently not something that can be done here. So we also need to have relationship between actually and maybe, I don't know. I'm actually not sure what the relationship needs to look like yet. But it's going to be something like this. We're gonna need to basically say this person authenticated via email, and their email is associated with these documents, so therefore we want to associate their login with these documents. So even when they're logged in by a different method, basically just being able to associate multiple forms of identification with an account and have a transitive nature to that. So if I've signed in with this email address, and I've signed in with this email address, and I've signed in with this phone number, then I have access at all times to any of those things to be able to create that relationship. To say, yeah, we have the integration with Twilio is in PR, but it hasn't made it to into testing yet. We don't have the front end piece for it, and I probably will have to redo the PR because we've changed some of the routing since then. Let's see. But I think that's probably good for me to have marked and kind of have an idea what I'm going to head into tomorrow when I work on this. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. I've got a bunch of hours I need to catch up on, because why did I not? No, Tuesday I did have hours in. But today, I got very few hours in. But I'm still a little behind for the week on my hours. Okay. All right, well, it's time to pause the music since we're in between anyway. Thank you for joining in. If you got any last questions, comments, or whatevs, feel free to drop them now or forever hold your peace. And of course, if you want to like, sub, or follow, you can do it now. I will go ahead and see who we can raid. Oh, I don't remember who this person is, but I followed them at some point. We're going to raid B7H30. Tell them I say hi, because I'm going to go to bed. But let's get that brewing. Again, thanks for joining in. Nice to have you. Have a good one. Rating in 5, 4, 3, 2. Wait, where'd the raid go? What? Oh, I did the I typo. Here it goes. All right, 5, 4, 3. What? Where is it? Where's the raid? Why is the raid not happening? Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. B7H30. Okay. /raid B7H30. Oh, okay. I don't know why that took so long. Now we're ready to go. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Adios, y'all.